So here we are with the Sweetpea driving home for Christmas. Table runner, not a table runner, quilt. Crikey. So we've already got the blocks that we've done previously. We did the houses first. So there's 3 houses. If you're going to do it like they've done it on the diagram, but you can add or do it as big or small as what you want to do. I've done 5 blocks for the trees. And then we've done 2 separate videos for the top and bottom of the first car. So now we're going on to the second car. So as you can see, I've already hooked the polymesh stabilizer, and I've already put the wadding batting on. So the first step is to tack down the batting, wadding if you're in UK. So as you can see, I've trimmed round the wadding, just taking a little excess off. It just reduces the bulk when you're putting it together afterwards. Right, the second step I normally skip and just put my fabric on top. But as you can see here, it's got a cutout. And I have fell foul before in budget and scarpering. So I am going to stitch this bit so I can lay my fabric on. So we'll stitch that now. 3, which is just covering the actual sewing marks that you've just done. But obviously leave a bit at the top and the sides for your seam allowance, half a inch, half a inch, half inch. No, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Let me feel. Yeah, could be. Yeah. So just let me check on my other blocks to make sure I've got my swirl going that way and not up and down. So I'm going to change my thread at this point because I've got blue in and I've got a dark blue background and I won't be able to see it. So that's a tip. Always, when you're doing a plique, use a thread that you can see. You know when you're doing your when you're cutting round it. Otherwise, you'll need a torch and like a coal miner. So I'll just change to white. And then we're going to stitch that again. So this is going to be step 3 I'm stitching. So I've cut around that bit. I have cut a bit of wadding there, but we're not going to worry about that between friends. Now the next step, is step 4. It is the little bit of background quilting. On this one again, I'm going to omit it. I'm not going to do it because it's busy fabric and you're not going to see any puckering. So I'm going to up that now. So we're going to go on to step uh, 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 5, which is going to be, I'll just start pressing buttons, don't I? That one. So that one is your bottom bit, which you turn and flip. So this is going to be a step 5 to stitch that bit. So I've also just stepped out, stitched out step 6. So your step 5 was where you're putting your fabric across the bottom here. Let me move your camera out so you can see. Right, your step 5 is when you flip and turn. So you put your fabric across the bottom, right sides together like that, and then what you do, you'll flip there. So your step 5 is that, where you're stitching all the way across. Then your step 6, you're flipping it back and then doing that U-shaped bit to hold the bottom in. You've done other blocks, so it's familiar to you. Right, so now, step 7 of 30, good grief, 30 steps, is the placement mark of the placement stitch of the car. So I'm going to do all my cars in red because I am. So excuse my arm. Let's move it out of the way a little bit. So yeah, so this is step 7 is the placement of the car. Again, I have skipped these steps before, but I'm not going to on this one because it's also got the Christmas tree on as well, you can see. So let's just stitch that out. As you can see again, I've changed colour thread so I can see where to put it. So that was step 7. Step 8 then, placement. So you're going to put your red fabric or whatever colour car you're doing onto it. Should we do a spotty car this time? Why not? So you put your fabric. As you can see, I'm a wasteful ninny. I won't pre-cut my fabric because I'm lazy. So this is going to be step 8, where it's going to tack down, ready for you to trim round for your applique. Moving on to step 9, it's going to sew this colour here. So I've done mine red, so I'm going to stitch it in red. Ignore any colours that are on there. It's got salmon pink on. You just go with your colours that you want. It's got salmon pink because they've done a pink car. But I'm doing a red car because I want to. So step 10 is the placement stitch for the tyre. So me being me, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to skip it to step 11, which is the tacking down stitch. So that's what I've skipped to. But you'll do it in order. It's just the fact that you've heard me before, life's too short. So that's the tack down stitch for the tyre is step 11. So we're on to step 11, which is going to be the tyre. So I've just changed my thread. I've put vinyl in here. It's brown because I can't find my black. Let's give a bit of contrast. So this is step 11, and it's going to be the tyre, which is the satin stitch around it just to seal the edges in there. We're going on to the trim next. So step 13 is the trim on tyre. So I'm actually doing tint colour it says, because it says grey. So as I've said before, I'm using Sweetpea threads. So Sweetpea have just announced. So today is August 8th in the UK. I know people are watching from all over. They've just announced that they're going to stop selling physical products. So the Incredi threads, which are Sweetpea supply at the moment, are sewing and embroidery threads. So fill your boots while you can. They've got a massive sale on at the moment. Like I say, it's 8th of the 8th, 25. So at the minute, they've got stock. Once it's gone, it's gone. So these are sweet pea threads that I'm using. So I'm just going to do now the little trim in the middle of the tyre, a little star trim. Now, step 14 is come up. I don't know if you can see on my screen, this is applique material, but it isn't. It is the orange for the little headlight, rear light, whatever it is. That's how I'm seeing it anyway. Let's have a look. So this is step 14. So yes, as I said, step 14 was the little backlight there. Can you see it? See if I can get it up and show you. Oh, I wish you can tell them now we're very naughty trying to lift. So that was step 14 there. Step 15 is going to be this little bit here of embroidery, which looks like the car trim. So I'm doing that mine in red. So we're on step 15. That's like bingo, this, isn't it? So they've got it as deep rose. I'm doing it as red. I'm not sure if you can hear my machine. People ask how often do you change a needle? You can hear when it wants changing. If you're going to be doing a lot of projects with wadding and fabric and things, your needle will want changing um, more than just normal embroidery. So listening to this now, the needle needs changing. So I'll let this finish on this red and then I will change the needle. And this is step 15. So I've already stitched out step 16, which is the show me line where to put your applique for step 17, which is the lay down stitch. Now I don't know if I've cut that bit big enough. No, I haven't. So let me cut another piece. This is the trouble when you don't measure. There are cutting guides for all Sweetpea's designs, but me being me, I don't do it. Right. And I'm not changing my thread. I know I've told you. So this is going to be step 17. So this is the tack down stitch now for the car wheel trim. Step 18 now is going to put the satin stitch around this wheel trim that you've just trimmed around. Mine could have been neater here, so that might show that it's frayed, but hey ho, my scissors aren't really sharp. I need to get them sharpened again. So that is step 18. So we'll do that now. So step 19 is the tree trunk. So we've got a nice russet brown in there because that's what it's saying to do. But like I said, if you want a pink tree trunk, you can have a pink tree trunk. It doesn't matter. So that's just do a tree trunk. You can see there where I've stitched wadding, but like I said, it doesn't matter because the fabric, applique fabric, will cover that up. So this is step 19 of 30. So we're well over halfway through. So, okie dokie. In true Cheryl fashion, I'm going to skip step 19 because all it is showing where tree's going to be going. Can you see? There. Well, I can see where tree's going to be going because I've got a dirty great tree gap there. So I'm going to go into my settings and I'm going to skip forward. So now we are on step, let's have a look, 20. So put your applique fabric down and then you can go that way so I've not wasted as much fabric. Yeah. Applique fabric down and then just put that on. And this is step 20. So that is just going to seal to tack it down. Make sure again you leave enough this edge, half inch, if I'm speaking Polish, half hinge. So half inch there, because obviously it needs to go into your seam. So what I'm going to do now is trim around there and then stitch number 22. So sequence 22, which is obviously then they're going to be the green there, sealing the edges in. So this was 21, tacking it down. So I'm going to cut it and then do number 22, which goes all the way around. As I've shown you before when I cut it, so you take your hook off the machine, and I've got me, what you call it, scissors, my little embroidery scissors. They've got a little bit of a foot on them, if you like. People use double them duck bill scissors. I don't like those, but it's each to their own. So you see, trim as near as you can to the stitch line. It has been known for me to trim through stitches. Try not to. And then again, I'm just pulling it slightly there so it just gives it a bit of tightness and then obviously trim up. So that's trimmed that. I have got a bit of pucker in there because I should have held it down a little bit. Can you see? Let me show you. got a bit of pucker in there because I should have held it down tighter. But I didn't because I was holding the camera so it didn't vibrate. So that is the number 21. So now we're on 22, like I said, which is going to be the satin stitch around. While I'm putting my thread on, a little reminder. You know when you're doing blocks that run on from each other, and if you've got a load of threads like I've got, keep your threads to one side. Otherwise you won't get the right shade when you join it up. So as you can see on top of there now, I've kept my grey and I've kept my red for the car, and I shall keep the tree one, that one, to one side as well, because obviously I've got the edge on the other block to do. So just a little tip there. Okay, so I'm going to just a stitch now of number 22, which again, like I said, is a satin stitch. So point of 23, what do you call it? Yeah, only a brain struggle. So number 23 sequence is going to be the, oh, shine a light, here we go. It's going to be the baubles, the two baubles. So this is one of the baubles. So, well, there's four baubles in total. So two are one colour and two of another colour. So this is number 23 of 30. 24 is the other two baubles. So I'm doing mine in pale blue. So I've done the ones. So on section 23 in orange, and I'm doing pale blue for section 24. Section 25 is going to be the bow. I think it's only got one bow on this one. It might have a bow on other part as well, front part. So I'm going to do that in red because at Christmas bows are red. And behind my Hallmark Christmas head. Love Hallmark channel at Christmas. So yeah, so it's going to do the bow. So that is section 25. That threw me a bit then because it's showing that bows up here. I'm thinking, what the jigging? Why is it doing? And it's not. It's the actual strings of the bow that as well, or whatever it is. Anyway, that's number 25. Right. The next stage is stage 26, where it's going to sew a little gap there for the window. Now, remember last time I didn't trim that bit out. So if you're going to use Mylar, trim out the inside of that. Otherwise you're going to see through it, which you don't want to see. So what I'm going to do now is just take it off my machine and just trim the inside. Be careful you don't get your wad in. That's it, look. And then just trim away that. So I'll just carry on with that. So if you're going to use Mylar, is you pop it on now and watch this. The next stage, number 27, is going to sew around just to hold the Mylar. This is the Mylar from Sweetpea. But like I said to you before, depending on when you're watching this video, this might not be available. So this one comes in two sheets, 50 centimetres by 100 centimetres, so a metre long by half a metre. And it's two pack. Comes in like two different colours. Can you see? One's like an iridescent purpley, and one's like a iridescent greeny. It's hard to see it really without taking it all off. But yeah, you can see different, slightly different colours there. So that's available on Sweetpea at the moment. Like I said before, the date is 11. No, it's not. It's 8th of the 8th, 25. If I were in America, I've got it right way around because I think UK we put our day first. In the US, they put the month first. Which don't half confuse us here in the UK. So, putting this Mylar back, that's what all the rustling is. So here now, you want to be using a neutral colour really. So I'm going to use, that's my camera again squeaking, this pale blue again, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it then go over. It does like a little meander stitch to hold the Mylar in place. So, like I say, it's purely optional. If you want to use Marlow, you can use anything you want. If you've read Sweetpea instructions, they might tell you differently how to do things. But as usual, I don't read instructions. So this is just tacking Milo around. I'm going to need 2 hands now. And my camera is attached to me table and it'll vibrate. So this is going to stitch all the way around this window here. So that is step 27. Right, it's stitched all the way around, you can see. So now you don't peel this off yet. You don't need to trim this off or anything because, excuse me, what it's going to do now is do step 28, which is a little meander stitch which will hold it. Let me show you. Can you see? So that's going to hold the actual mylar in place. So it gives it more of a windscreen look, can you see? So it won't tear off that now. So the next stage then is the satin stitch around. Before you do that, my hoop's a bit stiff by the way as well. We've put some Mr. Sheen or something on. Right, just give it a little bit of a help along the way. But normally this will, with me, it will tear away. Yeah, see how it's just tearing because you've done that meander stitch. I'll show you in a minute what I mean with meander stitch. Looks a bit like free motion embroidery if you're a quilter. Right. You see what I mean with that meander? So that's holding the middle of the window in place. And I've used a pale blue. So now number 29 of 30 steps is going to be the red. I'm going to do red around the window. So it's going to put the satin stitch around that window to hold it. So the very last step are the snowflakes. So we're on step 32 and it's just stitching out the snowflakes. So that is block, oh, what are we on? Houses, trees, 2, 3, 4. Block 5 done. Or video 5 done even. There you go. I don't believe I have shown you actually what I do to take the stabiliser away. So let me show you. I leave it in the hoop and then pull the fabric slightly. See, I've just got the fabric there. Get me little embroidery scissors and then just literally be careful of your fingers. And I don't even snip. Can you see? It just does it itself because of the momentum of the hoop, because of the tightness, how it's being hooped. So again, just go. I trim the stabiliser away. Again, I don't know what Sweetpea suggests. Just be careful not to trim your fabric flaps away. No worse. Right, I'll show you there. When you do trim the fabric itself, leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance. The reason being 1/2 inch and not a 1/4 inch, if you're a quilter, it's 1/4 inch normally. Again, I don't know what Sweetpea suggests in their instructions. I've not read them. How many times have I said that? But it's so you can press your seams open because you've got a lot of applique into the seams. So if you can see what I'm doing. Right. See how quick that way, just take your stabiliser off. So yeah, 1/2 inch because then you can put your seams open, not have got much bulk then between the seams. So that's why it's 1/2 inch. If you try and do it with a 1/4 inch, forget it. It's not easy to try and do your seams open. So that is the latest block. I'm going to crack on now to do the other video because I'm aware that I missed July. So I'm going to do the front next. So watch out for that one. And I forgot to add, Thank you for watching. I appreciate your comments and your views. It'd be nice if you could subscribe to this channel because then it just keeps it moving and keeps it going and yeah, just keeps it active. Thank you.